Only 56 kilometres separate Augsburg and Bayern Munich. That's right, this video is the Bavarian Derby. The last time these two sides met, match day 28 last season, it was a 3-1 away win to FC Bayern Munich. But on that occasion, it was Jamal Musiala that rescued Bayern Munich, that dragged them back into the game with a wonderful solo goal. He won't be doing that in this game though, will he? Because he's out injured. How did FC Bayern Munich get on in their away trip to Augsburg? Both of these two fussball clubs come into this Bavarian Derby with a 100% record. FC Bayern Munich won their opening game. That was a 6-0 thumping of Ole Werner's RB Leipzig. There was a hat-trick in that game for Harry Kane. His 8th, by the way. Yeah, his 8th hat-trick in an FC Bayern Munich tricot. Meanwhile, their opponents, the hosting team, Augsburg, under... I nearly got him Sandra. Yeah, Sandra Wagner. Oh, Sandro Wagner, the head coach of FC Augsburg. And by the way, Dishy Danny of Always Buying Chelsea rates Sandra Wagner so high that he reckons in future he will become an iconic FC Bayern Munich manager. He can't do that yet because he's still managing at Augsburg. Anyway, Augsburg in their opening game went away into the Black Forest and they absolutely, well, they just destroyed Freiburg. In fact, all three of their goals, the game ended up being 3-1, by the way, to Augsburg, but all three goals, shared around as well, all came in the first half. So that makes this Bavarian Derby very tasty indeed. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that way you'll be notified when we drop more videos right here on the German Football Spotlight channel, and also hit that like, because that way the algorithm will pick up more of our videos and it will be able to grow our audience, and that way we can all grow together. Danke. Now, if we have a look at the two sides, as we like to do, just to provide some context to this game, Augsburg lining up with 3 at the back, which again, as we learned last season, is a very traditional German Deutschland approach to football, very similar to what the Italians do with their catenaccio, bolt the door, keep it tight at the back. 3 at the back then, but we skip the goalkeeper, which is important actually, because Finn Dahmen, 26-year-old Finn Dahmen, he's German. Jürgen Nagelsmann, as we started calling him, Julian Nagelsmann, has recalled Finn Dahmen into the Deutschland men's national squad for their World Cup qualifiers that are coming up. At the back, we've got 3. We've got Christian Matsima, French, on the right. We've got Big Jeff Gullivauli. We had a lot of fun with his surname last season, didn't we? Gullivauli. We'll go with Gullivauli, nice. The Dutchman. He's right in the centre. And then to his left, as part of that back 3, it's not Nico Schlotterbeck, it's his older brother. It's Kevin, but it's actually spelled K-E-V-E-N, Kevin Schlotterbeck. The 4 across the midfield. On the left is Dimitri Giannoulis. Now, he did score the go-ahead goal in the Bavarian Derby back in April. What a fucking rocket that was as well, by the way. There was absolutely nothing that... Who was in goal that night? Was it Manny Neuer? No, I think it might have been Herbig, actually. I think Jonas Herbig might have been in goal. Anyway, there's nothing he could do. It was a rocket for the go-ahead goal. On the right-hand side of the midfield is Marius Wolf. Once upon a time, he did play for, not Bayern Munich, he played for their enemy. He played for their arch-rivals, 1860 Munich. The 2 in the middle then is Han Noah Masengo next to Krizolan Jakic. Remember that name, Jakic, because he does feature quite prominently in this game. And then the 3 up top, we've got Robin Fellhauer on the right. We've got Elias Saad. He's come in from St. Pauli. Elias Saad, the Tunisian. And up front is Mert Koma. The visitors then, FC Bayern Munich, of course, managed by Vincent Kompany, the big brain one. Manny Neuer in goal. It's a 4-2-3-1, classic FC Bayern Munich, classic Vincent Kompany gegenpressing setup. Left-hand side, left back with the licence to roam. Josip Stanisic, there you go. Josip Stanisic on the left. It's the king. All hail the king. King Kong on the right, equally given a licence to bomb forward. The 2 holding down the defence then is Jonathan Tah alongside Super Upamecano, as Liam from the Bayern View calls him. Your double pivot, not a surprise really, is it? Because Vincent Kompany seems to adore, as much as Sir David Beckham adores LA Fitness, Leon Goretzka. Alongside him his long-standing partner Joshua Kimmich. And then that front 4, but the 3 really across the midfield. We've got Luis Diaz, the Colombian that came in from Liverpool FC. He's already scored. He scored on his debut last week against RB Leipzig. On the right-hand side, it's the cool, calm, composed Frenchman Michael Olise. say Serge Gnabry, the builder, playing in the number 10. He's there feeding Sir Harry Kane, who's up front. The scoreline in this game was 3-2 to FC Bayern Munich, which sounds close, and believe you me, it is. However, it doesn't tell the complete, accurate narrative arc of this game. And let me try and put that into some context. So this was FC Bayern's second game in 5 days. Previously, they had been pushed all the way by a Liga 3 side, Wiesbaden. Anyway, a Liga 3 side that at one point Bayern Munich were 2-0 up and let the other team back into the game. It was 2-2. It was minutes away from going to extra time and penalties before Sir Harry Kane popped up with a dramatic, literal last gasp winner. So they won that cup game. So you're thinking, okay, the pressure then onto... Well, actually, the pressure is always on Vincent Kompany, no matter who they're playing, no matter what the stakes are, whether the stakes are Champions League knockout game or it's a Bavarian derby. You know, as we talked about in pre-season with Dishy Danny from Always Buying Chelsea, it doesn't matter, right? You have to get a result regardless of who you're playing. The coach of FC Bayern Munich is always in the crosshair. However, having just scraped through a DFB Pokal round 3-2 against a Liga 3 side, you would feel like, okay, let's freshen up that starting 11. You know, let's pull in an Alexander Pavlovich who looks like Cyclops with that face mask. You know, let's try Lennart Karl up front. Let's try something different. But I suppose, you know, he was actually giving the credentials to Augsburg. It's pretty much saying, we respect you as our opponent. It's a Bavarian derby. I need to field my strongest first 11. That doesn't on this occlusion mapping. Whoa, going back to our video games days. That doesn't include the likes of a Lennart Karl or a Wisdom Mike or a Daniel Sanchez. It doesn't include them. I need to play my best team because that's how we're going to get a result. Because he knows that even though this is game 2, not only are the thousands and thousands of FC Bayern Munich fans like Dishy Danny, like Liam from the Bayern View, they're all watching. The world's watching. We're watching, aren't we, Gonzo? We're watching. The expectation is so high going into every game that Vincent Kompany cannot afford to slip up. And slip up is exactly what did happen in this game. And again, I suppose I'm trying to give him an out by saying, well, this is your second game in 5 days. You were pushed quite far, even though it didn't go into extra time. You were pushed far and hard by a Liga 3 team. There's going to be some tiredness in there. You've chosen not to rotate, not to freshen the team up in any of the positions, you know. And actually, the bigger picture, it's not that long ago that you were playing in America in 115 degree heat against the likes of Benfica in that FIFA Club World Cup. So your players have not really had a chance to rest. And I guess following on from the back of that, you took part in 3, 4, 5 pre-season friendlies, which are all they're all locked in by the likes of Jan Christian Driesen, you know, and the executive board, because you need to make money. That's how you end up becoming a €1 billion revenue club, by putting your brand in the spotlight at all times. But it does have it has a human effect, or as a real effect on the humans that are the players, your assets, because they're going to be tired, right? They're going to be tired. Although the pressure, as we've established, is always on, not just on Vincent Kompany, but it's always on the players at all times. If we have a look at how the events played out, it took until the 28th minute for FC Bayern Munich to get that go-ahead goal. But conversely, if you look at it from the perspective of an Augsburg fan, then your coach, Sandro Wagner, has actually done his job, because he's set his team up in a low block. He's realised that actually, even though we're the home team, and we're expected to have lots of possession, we're playing FC Bayern Munich. They've brought in the likes of Luis Diaz, who's got electric pace. He was a threat every time he touched the ball against RB Leipzig. So we're going to adopt this low block. We're going to make it really difficult for Bayern Munich to try and play through the lines and try and play around us, even though they've got that attacking four that on their day can score against anybody. We're going to try and keep it on lockdown, stop the crosses and try and catch them on the counter-attack and do it that way, which for 28 minutes was going to plan. And then up steps LA Fitness Leon Goretzka. He's now in the third of the pitch that's being defended by Augsburg. Goretzka puts the ball out left to Harry Kane, who's playing in Football Manager parlance. He's playing as a deep lying forward because he's dropped all the way back. His clip ball goes into the middle of the box. There's two FC Bayern Munich players. In fact, if you watch the replay back, you can see Serge Gnabry, the builder, with his hands going, just pick me, pick me, pick me. The ball is floated in by Harry Kane. There's only one. Again, if you pause, free frame it, take a look from different angles. He's one of the back three of Augsburg standing to attention. I don't think it wasn't even Big Jeff, was it? It was Kevin Schlotterbeck, that's right. Kevin Schlotterbeck was pretty much the only man in the box. He's got two players. In fact, at one point, the king, Conrad Leimer, nearly knocks Serge Gnabry out the way. Gnabry gets there first. It's a header. It's got enough pace on it, enough trajectory to go past Finn Darman in the goal. And at that point, it's 1-0 FC Bayern Munich. Deep into injury time added on in the first half. So the 49th, technically 50th minute. Michael Olise's got the ball in the right channel. Again, we are in the final third of the pitch as he's being defended by FC Augsburg. Michael Olise on his left foot. He looks up, sees a run from the king. Conrad Leimer breaks through the lines. There's no point trying to stand up and play an offside because it ain't going to work. Olise's ball picks out Leimer. He runs towards the byline, takes a quick look up. It's a cutback. It's perfect. And this time, Luis Diaz, he must have had in his mind the miss of the season, which happened, in the first minute of the game, literally probably 2 yards out, and he manages to put a shot wide. This time, it's a more difficult chance. He's got a couple of defenders keeping him company, but he puts his foot out and it keeps the ball under control, goes in the net. I was trying to make a link from having defensive company to pleasing his manager, Vincent Kompany, which he did, by the way. Everyone gets together to celebrate. King Conrad Leimer does that sort of like strongman pose, and they go into half-time eventually with a 2-0 scoreline on the board. Now this is the moot point, because this is a similar position that FC Bayern Munich were in that DFB Pokal game against Verein Wiesenbad. They were 2-0 up and in absolute cruise control. Now at this point, coming out in the second half, Michael Olise scores pretty much within the restart. It's a brilliant move, honestly. Like you've got to go and check this out on Just Eat. You can help yourself to Just Eat if you want, but I was thinking more Ask Jeeves. Anyway, Harry Kane's involved for another assist. It's a ball sort of clipped from the back to the front. Harry Kane turns it round to Michael Olise. It's clear that the back three are trying to play quite a high line, but they're caught out on this occasion just because of the accuracy of the pass from Harry Kane, from Sir Harry Kane. And Michael Olise is dribbling left foot, right foot. He's turning poor Kevin Schlotterbeck inside out. He does actually end up on the ground. Michael Olise by this point has got his way into the box. He's pretty much on the penalty spot, and he's hit a shot that's it's gone under Finn Darman. It's a bit embarrassing, really, as a former member of the goalkeepers union. It's a savable attempt on goal. It doesn't matter though, because at the end of the day, FC Munich, FC Bayern Munich have since gone 3-0 up, and it's pretty much an entire second half that still needs to be played out. Again, though, thinking back to that DFB Pokal game where they suddenly switched off. Now, was it a lapse in concentration because the players felt the weight of relief because we've scored 3, we must be clear here, we're gonna win our second game on the spin, so they just switch off? Was it the weight of the physical pressure, because again this is their second game in 5 days and they're not quite in that groove again? People like Dishidani and Liam, both from Always Bayern Chelsea and the Bayern View respectively, will let me know that you're going to be playing the Champions League soon, so you're going to be playing UCL games, so it's going to be a game Saturday, Sunday, either Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday. It's going to come quick fire because of course there's 8 games in that revamped UCL group phase, so you're going to have to get into that. So they're not quite in the groove. Again, maybe I'm making excuses on behalf of Vincent Kompany. Elias Sad, who's coming from St. Pauli, he's managed to, with the ball at his feet, dribble all the way into the FC Bayern penalty box. He's in the corner, he's by the byline. As the commentator comes out of the immortal line, well, he's looking for someone to pass to and there's nobody there. By this point though, freeze frame, the FC Bayern Munich defence, well, they just lost all shape. The defence has lost all sense of its shape. There is 2 or 3 or Augsburg players running into the box to, eventually there will be a pass coming in. That's what's going through their minds, right? They're anticipating a pass, a cutback, a cross, whatever. Elias Sad manages to wriggle around. He pulls the ball back to Robin Fellhauer. He looks up. He literally just dinks the ball in. And Krisley and Jakic with his right foot almost, well, it's like they had time to supplant his body with his left leg into the turf, and with his right leg, like a what would you call it? On a fulcrum, not a Nicholas Fulkrug, on a fulcrum, swings his right leg around it and navigates the ball into the bottom corner beyond the dive from Mani Neuer, honestly. And you could see the frustration on the face and through the entire body language, certainly of the king of Konrad Laimer. He's like, because he knows at that point, 3-1, the pressure's on, it's a home crowd, they're starting to make some noise, and they do make some, they've got some wicked food, by the way, as well. They make some wicked noise to those ultras section at FC Augsburg, and the pressure is right on. It's building again because FC Bayern have just lost all set. They've lost control of the game. They've lost their shape. You look into the bench thinking, right, Mr. Vincent Kompany, make some changes, bring on some fresh legs. Christ, even bring on Sasha Bowie if you want. Just tighten up a bit. Take out Leon Goretzka, bring on Pavlovic, which is exactly what happens. But it doesn't stop the rot, because on the 76th minute they get their second goal. And this time it does look a bit like Sunday League football, to be fair, in the sense of how the goal comes about, just because their heads have gone. FC Bayern Munich's heads have gone. Elvis, he hasn't left the building, he's on the pitch. Elvis, he struggled his surname. Rechbecker. Anyway, Elvis, he's inside the FC Bayern half. He literally passes the ball directly, dead straight. He's aiming for the goal scorer, Christian Jakic. Jakic somehow he's trying to flick the ball behind him to pick out Philip Tietz. Philip Tietz, by the way, he came on for Elias Sad. Philip Tietz came in from Darmstadt as well. I should have pointed that one out. It's one of the summer transfers. All this action's playing out. Elvis down the middle to Jakic. He's trying to flick the ball behind him. Somehow it bounces off Super Meccano, is not Super Meccano in this phase of play, by the way. It does end up going wide to Philip Tietz. He pushes the ball back in. Of course, everyone's moving around now, just like the microphone. It's chaos, honestly. There's no shape whatsoever to this back line of FC Bayern Munich. There's bodies all over the place. The ball eventually does fall to Jakic, who sort of lays it back out to the in-rushing forward Mert Koma. He has time to take a touch and almost passes it, threads the ball from, a good 12 yards out through a crowded penalty box, and it eludes Super Meccano, basically, and Sasha Bowie. Sasha Bowie didn't cover himself in any glory because, of course, he should have been picking up the runner, Mert Koma. He doesn't, and the ball, like I say, is threaded with a bit of pace into the far bottom corner. Mani Neuer's got no chance, and with 15 minutes still on the clock, plus whatever overtime, injury time is going to be allowed by the referee, it's now 3-2. It's all hands to the pump. This is the point where Vincent Kompany does turn to the bench. He swaps out Serge Gnabry, brings on the utility player, the Portuguese Rafael Guerreiro, and somehow FC Bayern Munich managed to close the game out and win 3-2. Now, I suppose on the surface of it, you say, yeah, a win's a win. It's our second game in 5 days. It was a derby. It's always got a bit of an edge, right? Certainly derbies in other parts of the world, whether it's the Glasgow derby, Rangers Celtic, whether it's the Manchester derby, whether it's a North London derby, Arsenal Tottenham, whether it's Boca Juniors, our mates, River Plate, right? A derby always brings out the best in players, or in FC Bayern Munich, it did in that first 48 minutes. Credit to FC Augsburg, again, under the inspired management of Sandra Wagner, who, again, according to Dishy Danny, one day will end up being an iconic FC Bayern Munich manager. You get out of jail, you win the game 3-2. Okay, we could pull it apart, but that pulling apart has already been done by the likes of Christian Jackets and Mert Comer, with a little bit of help from Elias Sad. I suppose you just go, right, we've won the game, put it behind us. Let's see, because of course the transfer window is still open for another few days. Who else can we bring in? Because this does highlight the need for squad depth. And again, Danny and I have talked about this in a previous Subbed On podcast, that squad is only 25 people deep. And actually, probably 3, 4, if not 5 of those 25 are pretty junior. I'm not going to call them out by name. There's no naming and shaming, really. However, the likes of Lennox Carl, Kusa Asari, Wisdom Mike, Danny Sancho, and even Tom Bischoff. You would actually point him out as being the more senior out of the 4 or 5 that I just mentioned. They're lacking in squad depth. They need more bodies in there, because as we've highlighted just through this narrative, you will end up playing in the Champions League. It's either going to be Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday. That's going to play out like that for a good 8, 9, 10 weeks, because there's going to be some breaks in between, probably some international breaks as well. So it's going to be very demanding. So again, this is modern day fussball though, people, right? This is number one. The modern day football calendar asks a lot of the assets which are underneath it fucking humans with physical ceilings. Again, there's lots of conditioning staff, lots of masseurs, lots of psychological people behind the scenes at a club that's got a deep infrastructure like FC Bayern Munich. Players can only do what they can until they burn out, like any passing star, right? Any shooting star. So that would be the concern, is that you need to make more signings to fatten up this squad so that it allows you to play and compete on all fronts. Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, and the one that's cherished, again, if you remember that Subbed On chat, the direct quotation from Dishy Danny was, he expects FC Bayern Munich to win the Bundesliga, win the DFB Pokal, and go far, go deep, go long in the Champions League. Semi-final, ideally, all of you, even Liam from the Bayern View, you all want FC Bayern Munich to win, to lift that Champions League trophy. You're going to need a bigger squad to do that. If you're Sandra Wagner, if you're an Augsburg fan, I know there's a few out there, because you used to comment when we started off this channel, Christ, has it only been 6 months? Yeah. Wow. You should be proud, because 3-2 looks tight. It was tight, but it was a game of, I don't want to drop into that cliche, but I nearly did. It was a game of 2 halves, quite literally. There was the SC Bayern Munich that was switched on, that were alert, that were frightening going forward. It almost feels though, once you've got the goals in the bank and you've got what they players perceive to be an unassailable lead, you switch off, and that's where teams are going to catch you out. I suppose that's the point between the 60th and the 75th minute, where as he's going back looking over these tapes, that's it. Anyone got any tapes anymore? Well, he's looking back over the footage with his analysts. Of course, funny enough, the likes of Danny Roll, who's looking for a job, German, was managing Sheffield Wednesday before the fucking chaos that they got themselves into through foreign ownership and just not paying bills. Anyway, the likes of Danny Roll, that once upon a time were analysts, they'd be sat there going, we've highlighted that we need more squad depth. So Max Eberl, go out and do what you've done best. Go and target some players with the help of the other sporting director boss, Chris Frund. But we need to start thinking about our game management. How do we manage games from the hour mark onwards if we're going to be playing twice a week? What do you think anyway, people? Let me know if you're an FC Bayern Munich fan, or if you're an Augsburg fan, right? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Quite exciting. Not quite fucking erase that one. That scintillating Bavarian Derby. There's 5 goals in it, to be fair. 5 goals, a couple of glaring fucking misses from the likes of Luis Diaz. But do you know what? That's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. He's going to score goals. These are humans. They're going to feel the pressure. But that's where, with your squad depth, you cover it. You've got the points on the board, you move on, right? 2 wins out of 2, well done. Augsburg, a win and a loss. It's not bad, he played 2 games. Still in the DFB Pokal. Anyway, let me know, people. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as ever, if you got this far in a video, thank you so much. It really means the world to Gonzo and I. If you could have a think about, in fact, don't think about it, just get it done. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, and spread the word by out and about where you're in with a shout. We can all grow together. Thank you so much. We're going now. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.